Hey everybody, Jammer here. So apparently Pikmin 4 was just announced, very randomly, abruptly, and without any prompt to it. There was no trailer or anything, it was just kind of an interview with Miyamoto saying that yes, Pikmin 4 is in development currently, is actually almost done and ready for completion. So it really begs the question, why are they just saying this now? If this game is so near complete, then why didn't they show at least a little bit of it at last E3 instead of having no presence of it at all? It could be possible that they're going to try to use this game as a launch title for the NX, so then this game actually wouldn't be coming out for maybe another year or so, give or take. But it's really up in the air, like what they're going to be deciding to do with this game. I know there was an interview a little whiles back with actually Smosh and Miyamoto, and they talked about the future of maybe an F-Zero and other games such as that, but they actually did touch on Pikmin for a second, and he had mentioned, this is just recently when the Pikmin shorts had just recently came out, so he kind of mentioned about that and how he really loved the characters and really loved working with the, short films, and he really wanted to continue with the series. So at that time, we were kind of hinted towards, yes, Pikmin 4 is an idea, it's not like it's never going to happen, but we didn't get any concrete detail that it was even getting worked on. But now, all of a sudden, just out of the random, yeah, it's been worked on, it's nearing completion, and should almost near release as well. So it probably would be one of their smarter moves to actually hold it back for the NX release. However, of course I want to get my hands on a Pikmin as soon as possible. So maybe they could actually release it on the Wii U, then the following year release it on the NX. I'm not sure, but I think their smartest choice would be to actually hold it off, as much as I'd rather have it as soon as possible. So I thought I'd take a second to kind of talk about some of the things that we could maybe anticipate in this new game. Of course, I think they should honestly kind of go back and recap the Pikmin series and combine it into one awesome new game that takes all the best features of each one. So the first game is admittedly a little dated, and the level of challenge is actually extremely high, which made it a lot of fun. So I feel like how they did in Pikmin 3, where they did incorporate some sort of time limit to the game. So in Pikmin 3, if you ran out of fruit, it was practically game over. But it was a lot easier to collect fruit, so it was a lot less lenient. Like, you could end up playing that game practically forever without ever worrying about running out of time or to be able to beat the game. While in Pikmin 1, however, they reached a certain point where if you didn't get a certain amount of ship points per day, you would end up not being able to beat the game. Now, personally, I feel like that was a little too steep. It was a really cool concept, and it kind of made the game really challenging. But I feel like Pikmin 3 definitely went in a better direction than the first game did. However, I also feel like that Pikmin 3 was a little too easy at the same time. So perhaps they could have two different modes. Maybe when you create your save file, there'll be a normal mode, which would be similar to the Pikmin 3 style, where there's still some sort of time limit and some agenda. But however, in order to keep going, you have to collect certain collectibles to keep your time limit going on. And then, of course, there would be hard mode, which that one would be a lot more stricter timeline. Perhaps the items required to, extend your inhabitants and living on the planet maybe would require more. So, for example, let's say instead of having 1 fruit per day, it would cost 3 fruit per day or something like that. It would go back to the roots of the first game and add that challenge for the players and more mature players that really want that the hard Pikmin game like the first game was. Now, also, I honestly personally think Pikmin 2 is actually one of if not the best in the series. I just love all they added. I love the new Pikmin. So I think it would be kind of cool if they kind of brought back purple Pikmin, maybe white Pikmin, and even brought back the cave exploration aspect of it. I mean, it was a little tedious at times, I'll admit, but it was also kind of fun to challenge yourself to be able to go through a set of floors with only a specific amount of Pikmin, and the only way to get more is either through onions that you find, or the little flower onions you find, or perhaps running into the bulb Pikmin and such like that. I really found that a lot of fun. It could get a little repetitive at times, I will admit, but it still is a really fun aspect of the game that I was actually kind of disappointed that wasn't in Pikmin 3 at all. Now, what Pikmin 3 did do right, however, is the storytelling was of course great, but I really enjoyed how they used the gamepad to be able to control the 3 captains at once and being able to explore the overworld area to better traverse it and stuff like that. I think that was an awesome thing, and So with each iteration, they've always added another captain. So is it possible that in this 4th game we could get a 4th captain, which would be crazy? And speaking of captains, I kind of wonder who they're actually going to use as the main character for this game. So in Smash Bros, the figurehead for the series has always been Olimar, and then Alf, the star of Pikmin 3, ended up becoming one of his alternate costumes. So those two seem like to be the two that are most like in the press. Most people understand and know these characters as Pikmin characters, so it makes sense that either one of them returning. Of course Olimar is going to be in it, but will we be playing as Olimar again this time? Or will we be with Alf and his team? Or what makes you wonder, since it's Pikmin 4, are they going to add a 4th captain? So then maybe perhaps we're playing as Olimar in addition to Alf, Charlie, and Brittany. And then maybe perhaps we're trying to save Louie again, because who knows what trouble he got himself into. Oh, and so another thing I really want them to add to this new game is I really enjoyed how in Pikmin 2, after you beat the game, they made its own after story where they added like a new dungeon and you had to try to find Louie again, and I thought that was really cool, really fun, and it like added to like life to the game. So I feel like that'd be really cool to add to Pikmin 4 as well. So there'd be a post-story that you could fight another boss or explore some new area or dungeon or something like that. And that's also another thing I like to touch on is the areas. In Pikmin 3 was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but I feel like it really didn't have that many, like each game hasn't had that many worlds. There's only been like 4 or 5 given areas where you go back and continue to explore, which, don't get me wrong, most of them have been pretty expansive. But there have been cases where some of them are a little bit more linear than others. So I feel like for this next game, what would be really cool if all these areas were actually interconnected as one big area, and you could then, as you unlock certain areas, you can unlock certain new landing spaces. So then you can land to different areas. So then it does separate it up a little bit, but then whenever you land somewhere, you can literally traverse to anywhere you can walk within, the day time limit. It would really add another level of immersion, making you actually feel like this planet you're visiting is a real living planet that's completely explorable. Granted, the old method made it feel a little bit more harder to traverse, but at the same time it also really felt like you're just clicking a map and going to a new level and then exploring a level. Then once it's complete, you can just leave and then never go back. But I feel like having all the areas interconnected somehow, just at depending on where you are in the story, having certain ones blocked out. For example, say there's a log covering a certain area to go to the next one. You can't move that until you get a certain type of Pikmin or such like that. So I think that's about it for now. Overall, I'm really looking forward to Pikmin 4. I can't wait to hear some actually more concrete details and more news about this game. I'd love to see some in-game screenshots or even a trailer. That'd be super awesome. Since we're due for a Nintendo Direct actually pretty soon, I actually wouldn't put it past them maybe putting a little bit of information about this game into that Direct, which would be really awesome. So what are your guys' thoughts on Pikmin 4? Voice your opinions in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe for more on Pikmin 4 and other Nintendo content. Thanks guys, bye.